there. Hello, we are here. We're back. It's Monday night. Got Mike Reiser and myself here talking wrestling. Something's going on this week. Anything exciting going on this week, Mike?
I'm going to try to relax, take the weekend off. Really, shut down the entrance, put it in neutral, and recharge here.
Oh yeah. Should be a pretty easygoing week here. Nothing exciting going on, I'm sure, except for maybe the state finals. Lots of fun stuff going on this week. Hey, girls basketball regional is going on, Wyatt. Yes, it is. You are obsessed with girls basketball.
Girls basketball team is doing pretty well.
Yes, he is definitely. You need to go to. I don't even know what the website is for basketball.
I don't know either.
So yeah, we are have this little wrestling stuff going on. First thing is pretty cool thing that we found out news today. Indiana Tech's adding girls wrestling. Great time to add it because I'd love to get press for it, but it's a crazy busy week. But that's awesome for the state of Indiana. Lots of girls wrestling going on. So that's really cool. And maybe your girls will be wrestling there, Mike.
Maybe. They would have to start wrestling sometime. OC did a little bit of wrestling for probably 10 practices, but she said it was pretty hard. She said one practice they were running it, we did all running and stuff, and she said, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. So maybe.
And Annabella did a couple practices too, and I think she was more scared and stuff, but she does gymnastics. She'll do it if she wants to do it. That's great. Awesome to have an opportunity in Indiana. It's cool that it keeps growing. I'm kind of blindsided by that news. Getting tagged with tweets. I've been getting tagged with lots of tweets past few days, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what's this? And oh, geez, that's awesome. So anyway. And yes, we did know about Mr. Chef, and definitely not a good thing that he is out for the tournament. We'll be going over that later. Mike, how was the East Chicago semi-state?
We did. I think I got out of there at 7, so I broadcasted the entire day. I didn't take any rounds off, so I did a lot of talking. It seems that people are starting to enjoy the thing, hearing me talk sometimes on the internet, but great wrestling, always exciting. The ticket round's always exciting. We mixed different guys in all day. I started off with Josh Morgan and Mike Pointer. They told me Josh Morgan sounds like he could be John Gruden, and then Josh had to leave, and then we mixed in Bobby Joe Maldonado. And me and Bobby Joe did the ticket round, and then for the finals, we went to a 4-man crew. We had Eric McGill came in with me and Pointer, and then also NCAA champ Matt Gentry sat in, I think up until 32. So that was pretty cool. There was an epiphanic moment, and I was I remember Matt Gentry was an NCAA champ, and I talked to Eric about it before, and I don't know why I was thinking Matt Valenti. You remember Matt Valenti?
Yep, from Penn.
Yep. Yeah, and I was oh, cool, man. And, he's not a really big guy. You always, think these dudes are going to be huge. And then it hit me. We were talking. He's two-time Olympian. And I was I don't remember this guy wrestling for the United States in wrestling. But, I could be wrong. And then we're talking, and he's oh, because I competed for Canada. And then I remembered that I watched this guy wrestle Burroughs at the Olympics in a tight match. And actually, some Canada fans were kind of giving us a hard time, boo, Burroughs, beat our boy. They're no, we're just joking. We want him to win because he gets pulled back in. But I thought that was really cool. And then then it hit me. So I was wow, this dude is legit. I seen him at the Olympics in London. I know Dingo was there also, but to have a guy that was at that level, and he didn't medal because he wrestled Jordan Burroughs, and I think in his other match he had wrestled Dennis Sardouche. So
yeah,
not an easy road to a bronze there.
No,
or a
not
gold.
at all. No, that's cool. Yeah, and he's a doctor in what's he doing?
Yeah, he's a sports therapist, a physical therapist, but he also has like the a sports psychology thing.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
called Physio Point. It's in Crown Point. So I had no clue. I know Eric had told me, but like that this NCAA champ has a office in Crown Point, and I was like, oh, cool, man, like awesome. He's a guy, and he does like a lot of mental stuff, and we kind of talked a little bit about that, just the mental edge, and I think that like he said it in his like interview was like if you ask all these guys, like 90% of the sport's mental, but you don't take as much time preparing yourself mentally for the sport, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a big thing, especially they talk about that when they start getting to the higher levels. But yeah, that's cool that he's hanging out in Indiana. I'd like to. That's pretty neat. Somehow ends up in Indiana. 'Cause he was. I don't know where he's originally from, but I don't think it's Midwest.
Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
No, he's from Oregon. He went to Stanford.
Yeah.
He was training at Overtime with Bormet and Andrew Howe and those guys, Mike Poeta. And he met a you know how Joe ended up in the region sometimes. Met a girl.
Met a girl.
And she is from Illinois, so they live in Kankakee, and he was just looking for a practice to get at, and he liked this one. So I think that that'd be pretty awesome for those guys to get that guy around that area, and I think he's doing some advertising with Region Sports and stuff like that. So it would definitely be cool, one, to learn technique from a guy that's been at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board, obviously, he's an NCAA champ, which is the highest folk style thing that we have going, and then he wrestled for the Olympics and wrestled one of the greatest U.S. wrestlers to ever do it. And probably, I don't know if Sardouche, but Sardouche had a really good run for Russia also.
Yeah, so that sounds cool. I was in beautiful Fort Wayne, as you can tell. Nice, roomy, spacious arena. Not a bad seat in the house. Some great picks. We'll be sharing Punch War. Adam Hartsoe does a great job with pictures. There might have been a couple of me getting a little excited once in a while. So if you... We'll be sharing those on our Facebook page. He does a great job, and he'll be at state again. It's a lot of cool pictures that he takes, and hopefully you'll get one. People will get pictures of their kids. He does a great job. He was at the at Dream Team also doing some great pictures. So we're gonna get to the brackets, and I got a little. You know, we're not just gonna talk about them. We are going to have them right. Ah, darn it! I messed that up. Right beside me. Pretty nifty little graphical work I did this evening.
I guess we should let everyone know what we're covering tonight. I see a lot of predictions for the heavyweight and the 220 class.
Yes.
But tonight we're going to cover 106 through.
Yes. And
not the whole thing. We're going to split it into two sessions.
Yep.
We're going to do 106 through 145, right?
Yep. 106 through 145, and then Wednesday night we're going to be back with the other ones. Give me a couple days to do, maybe crank out a few more stupid, crazy articles about stats and stuff. The Who Are Your Losses To article I've been putting together. I need about 400 losses I got to find. So if anyone wants to help with that task, please send me a message. But we got 600 of the 1,000 or whatever, so it's not too bad. So 106 pounds. Yeah, I just love being able to do that. It's kind of cool. I just need longer pointer finger. It looks like the first few weight classes almost they got almost seating separated almost perfectly. Alex Cotty, number 1 on the top, has Chris Newman from Mount Vernon. Heard some grumblings about Newman. Early, late in the season, like he's pretty tough. That's pretty good. Bottom half, you got Brennan Cernis from Culver, and then number 4, Suhas Chundi. And then you got up top, you also have Alec Freeman, Elijah Anthony, first round. Lots of good ranked matchups. There is only one unranked matchup on Friday night, which is pretty good. Not too bad of rankings. You got, 175, which is a little bit lower, and that was... Yeah, the heavyweight just got blown up completely, and that was mainly at Fort Wayne, but elsewhere also. That was just a crazy weight class, and there were a couple others a few upsets, and I think we figured. I went through and we did the preseason rankings you had 140, and I know I have it on my phone because I took a picture of it. Hopefully I didn't delete it. Where's it at? Oops.
I have it too. You sent me the text.
Yeah, there. Oops. Yeah, let me find that. It's pretty interesting of the guys that weren't in the. They're in the preseason magazine. There are 84 that weren't at state. Lost 42 in the ticket round. 15 to injuries that were out throughout the season. That includes like guys like Picorni and stuff. 14 others were just at semi-state. A few guys got in trouble, and then a couple even actually were JV. So, and there's others that had other reasons, but that's pretty impressive. That you could have had 180 almost if those guys would have won the ticket round. Obviously, some guys hit the other ranked guys, but you had even 20 of those guys could have made it through preseason wise. That's pretty impressive, and have that many that close, especially when you're trying to guess weight classes and all that fun stuff.
I'm really good at the fair. They usually have like a jar of beans or candy, and I win that all the time, guys. It's like Rain Man. Obviously, having things like track wrestling helps because you kind of see very similar results, and generally, like, those hold up pretty well. We go through a ton of stuff. I have a lot of people that I trust, and I'll ask, like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And it's not just their own kids, because I think I was saying that during the broadcast Saturday, if a coach says, hey, this guy's pretty good, and they're not always pushing their guys, like if you get the same coach always pushing a guy and, he's always losing at the semi-state, you're like, okay, man, like you're only pushing your guys. All you care about is like getting your kid in the rankings. But you'll get a message from a guy that, does a good job, and he'll tell you like, hey, this or this, and you're like, all right, this kid's probably the real deal. And just as a side, when I was talking to Snyder, he was like, yeah, Dorian Key's the real deal. Derek does not like give that kind of praise a lot. So I was like, all right, this guy is probably legit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty. Yeah, that's nice, and I mean, good stuff. I mean, obviously getting 175 when everything's locked. I didn't go through the ones that did lose and where they fit, or what happened to them. But there's obviously, I'm gonna guess there's probably a good number of them that lost in the ticket round and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get on 106 pounds. What's your thoughts on the bracket? The biggest matchup right here. Team-wise, it's going to be very interesting. 7 and 8, Logan Miller, Carlton Perry. Number 3 and 9, Alec Freeman, Elijah Anthony. Lots of good matches up Friday night, so get there early to the bank.
Yeah, I think already like foreshadowing the team race is going to be huge. Brownsburg took care of business. Mater Dei took care of business at the semi-state. They obviously did a really good job. And I felt like when we were watching, we didn't want to watch it together, but I watched it, and we were just texting back and forth. I thought every bracket was separated pretty well. I don't think that, a couple here or there, but, you could argue for a bit of blind draw. It's really, there's not that, there's not that Stefan Micic, Nick Lee in the semis. You have Hunter, Watts, Mendez, but overall, I thought this was really well done. Friday night, like you said, Perry, Miller. Miller's had a really good freshman season. Jared Brooks was the lowest ranked semi-state champion from Wabash, 33-1. Dominic Skis, I was telling everyone he was the first day qualifier for Lafayette Central Catholic. It sounds like he's the second, which is still really cool.
Yeah. Yes, he's the second. Their first one was like 1985 or something. There's a website that we can figure that stuff out at. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool to see that they, get a state qualifier.
So, I saw Cernus Saturday. He's awesome. He looked really good. He beat Roberson in the semis, beat Malik Hall in the finals. I actually think Malik Hall got into a good spot. I haven't seen Ocampo. Took his first loss to the semi-state, but Malik Hall's really been coming on. He wrestled Alec Freeman at freshman-sophomore state last year, 3-2. So that should be a pretty interesting one, if possible. Obviously we get some messages here or there that we're discounting people's abilities, but just kind of foreshadowing for the sake of foreshadowing.
Yes.
Malik Hall and Alec Freeman could be a huge match Saturday morning.
Yeah, definitely. That's right off the scale too, as you like to say. Yeah. A semi-inside joke. We got a message last night after I was tweeting out kind of some bracket reactions, some matches that kind of caught my eye and stuff, and I was discounting people that I was saying that these guys are going to lose, and that's not we have to project. If you do your math right, there's about 45,000 different combinations that would happen throughout the week, or through all 14 weight classes. So we got to kind of project. We don't have time to do that. To project the Dominic Skis versus Alex Cotty and Stefan Roberson final matches and things like that. So we'll definitely some there's gonna be upsets. There's gonna be lots of upsets. I'm curious to see. I've seen glimpses of Cernus. I've heard from you and some others that he's the real deal.
He's really good.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. I know should be some great matches here. I mean, yeah, like you said, Ocampo's pretty solid. He's beaten some solid kids, but they're also got a bunch of guys that I haven't seen a lot of results for off-season wise, and that's where you get a lot of those freshmen, coming in. He's beaten the Sprague. Sprague who qualified. He's beaten some other guys that are around the area. We only put in about a half season worth of work, so that's didn't get to see the competition he wanted to see. And obviously, when you're ranking them and when you're kind of trying to project, it's hard to tell when you don't get that many matches and you're not at the big events. So that should be very interesting. Maryville's going to be ready to go, and Ocampo's going to be he's going to be a tough kid. I saw him for the first time this weekend. So he looked pretty solid. So, yeah. And Brooks looked pretty good this weekend, too. I was pretty impressed. First time I really saw him get after it. So, any other comments here, Mike?
Yeah, just a couple more. I think Suhas Chundy kind of fell in a good spot. He's having a really nice season. We talked about it leading into the state tournament. I think Blaze Garcia moving from 13 to 6, actually, that made a lot of sense now. And I think one of the things you look for during the Parade of Champions, I know that myself and my roommate Kimberly like to look for is like the kids that are just happy to make it there. And I understand it's a huge accomplishment, but there'll be some kids that have already accomplished their goal. So like that's kind of that kind of skews what you're looking for. Some of those kids are going to be ready to go. There's going to be some kids that are going to have that draw and they're going to say, hey, I don't, it's going to be tough tonight, or I'm happy to be here. But I think all these kids should be hungry and look to get that medal because anything could happen. We see it every year.
Yeah, definitely. You see it. I mean, yeah, you do see the kids that cash. You see them cash it in at every level, and that's something we always tell our kids. You have these guys that want to be done. So, should be some good matches there. We'll move up 113. Ta-da! Man, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of myself. Top
He's
match.
pretty savvy at the computer, folks.
Yes, that top match. That's one that just like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, ooh, that's interesting because everyone was saying, of course, anytime Evansville's 4s are better than all of Fort Wayne's 1s. Is what I heard on the board the other day. Like, oh yeah, they wrestled the one from Fort Wayne, and I kind of have to laugh because
that Evansville post was getting crazy now.
Yes. Preston Tush and Jacob Simone first round. Tush has one loss on the year, and that is to Mr. Simone. So that's going to be very interesting. All-Stock Cruise first round, that's going to be a good one. I did notice one thing interesting on the IHSA brackets. They had a lot of misspellings. They spelled Gavin with one N. I noticed with two. And there's a couple other ones in there. I think it must have been Floyd Central's because they have him as Kerwin, and it's Kervin, Jonathan Kervin. So I had to correct that stuff. Luckily, I'm on the ball here. Seltzer, Jet Boots, and then the winner gets the winner Diaz and Nelson. That's going to be a barn burner right there. Moran, Cole Ross. Jeez, Pete, this is just an ugly. You just keep going down. Ben the Bandit. I did see this. Bandit. Yes, the Bandit, Dalton, Jake Armstrong, and that's going to be a good match. Armstrong's pretty solid, and then Pearson's on the bottom. Pearson versus the Bandit, not going to win. I got to go with Mullet.
Yeah. Yeah, forget the bracket, forget all the rankings. I think you guys need to get there early to get some eyeballs on this haircut Benny Dalton's been rocking. If you're not out there with the mullet and in the Ben Dalton fan club, there's something wrong with you. That's a tough one Friday night for Benny. Jake Armstrong coming back. He was a state qualifier 2 years ago. Man, he was about, and you can go back. I know Region Sports archives all of that. He was about 30 seconds away. I think he was getting majored by Nick Titini and hit a headlock and pinned him.
Oh, jeez.
With like 4 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. Like, we're literally saying, like, all Titini has to do is kind of stay away, don't even tie up, headlock. And then I think he got Brody Fogarty, just caught him off balance, stuck him in the ticket round. So, definitely a dangerous wrestler. David Pearson, obviously, we got to see Friday night last year with Cole Ross. He's an ultra dangerous wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah,
he could throw you from anywhere. Jacob Moran, Cole Ross. I mean, again, big points. I mean, Portage might have enough horses to make a run at it Friday night with Moran if they take care of business, and it comes down to that. So that could be a huge one. Tough back-to-back matches for Cole Ross. First 2 years at the state finals. Last year was David Pearson, who ran that to the semifinals. This year, Jacob Moran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be some good wrestling there. Geez, that whole weight. I mean, you got all but two. There are 13 guys that are were ranked, and then your unranked guys. Birch, I saw he's solid. He'll battle there. He won a grinder of an overtime match in the ticket round, and Deadman's pretty tough too. So that should be a good match. And Armstrong, obviously, like you said, he's a former state qualifier. So yeah, there's some good kids.
Pretty interesting one. Diaz actually lost to KT Nelson at the IPO in the finals. So little IPO matchup to start Friday night.
Yep, and then they get IPO runner-up Seltzer. So if you're also IPO, you do actually do pretty well. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would like to see how those champs are doing.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're doing probably pretty decent. We'll move up 1-0. Another great weight class. This one got, this one we could have had. I mean, this one's almost seated perfectly, other than Bedich and Borman in the same quarter. But guys are pretty well separated. Only one or two unranked guys. 2 4s, Logan Galbraith and John Robinson. Lytle versus maybe Finnerty. How is Finnerty this weekend? I haven't seen him. Does he have much for any of those other guys? Or
I think Riley kind of took it to him. Every single kid from Culver is really good in the top position. I know they got Josh Harper over there now. So they were legging everybody in. Finnerty wasn't any different. His 2 losses are from out of state, so I don't know if you have those yet. One's from Ohio at the Liberty invite, and one was in Michigan. So if you're looking for those, Joe.
Yep, I'll be looking for those. I kind of have an idea where some of those guys are, loss-wise.
And then, so we had a Michigan State champ versus an Ohio State placer at the East Chicago Semi-State Championship.
And yes, that's nice. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, Borman.
Obviously, Littell took care of business this weekend. I've always been pretty impressed with them. Bedich, I mean, at the Al Smith gave him everything that he wanted. That was an overtime match. Humphrey and Finnerty should be pretty good. Maybe I'd like to see Lowry on the other side. Maybe get Lowry and Bedich in the semis, and then the winner goes to see Littell. But Lowry's been on fire, man. Semifinalist as a freshman, undefeated this year, 39-0, and he's gone up He's gone up weights and pinned people. So tough one Friday night though. I think that Conley's a guy you can't count out. Those dudes have been wrestling forever. He's obviously really tough. Don't let his 14 losses, throw you off, because those are probably 14 really quality losses, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's going to be, Roncalli won semi-state. They had a real good Newcastle semi-state. I don't think anyone outside that Southside Rebellion area would be looking for him to looking for them to win, because you had Warren, you had Perry, you have Cathedral, but they came out. They had like 4 champs, 5 placers. They did a real good day, and they put themselves in a really good position. Obviously, 4 champs puts you in, a solid position to get 4 guys in the semis, which, that's huge points, especially with no wrestlebacks. Once you get the semis, you're golden for those points. So yeah, that should be interesting. That Jace Alexander.
I'm not gonna lie.
Go ahead.
This is 100% the truth. Wednesday night or Thursday night, Hector Mendez told me that Ron Cowley is gonna win the Newcastle semi-state.
Oh, you're.
And I was like, and I kind of gave the response I give everybody. It's like, they kind of have a shot. And then they go out and win. And I was like, wow, man, he was right. He was spot on.
Yeah, they kind of got put in some good spots. And obviously, you have to, even getting put in good spots, you gotta do your job. And some other guys, they got a little help. Some Warren and Perry, or Warren and Cathedral beat up each other a little bit. So that was pretty good there, for them. And then they're just cruising along and doing their job and end up winning fairly, not, I don't say handily, but fairly well. So
yeah, I think this is one of the first ones I would feel, and obviously I'm not calling it, but I think this is the first one where I feel like there could be a 4 and a 1. I think Ty Haskins and Evan Beasley will be an interesting Friday night matchup. Haskins, the junior from Portage, Beasley won Fort Wayne, and I'm not just saying that because it's Fort Wayne, but I think Ty Haskins is a pretty good wrestler, and I think that could be one. But I'm also really impressed with Evan Beasley. I think that's the first one where I feel like I would go out on a limb and say, oh, that could be an upset,
Yeah. Carson Eldred, Kyson Montgomery, that's a conference rematch right there. That's a brutal
rubber match too, right?
Yeah. What do you say?
Eldred pinned him early on. Montgomery beat him at their conference, so we got a little rubber match action.
Yes. So that should be very interesting there. So yeah. Oh, Thaddeus McMurray's picking Portage to win a match. That's rare. You have faith in your brother.
I always tell people, man, that guy's a good follow. Go follow him on Facebook. Go follow him on Twitter. He's pretty funny.
Yeah. So yeah, some great matches here Friday night. Definitely excited to see some of these guys bout. I'm interested in seeing. One of my biggest things is seeing guys I've never seen, especially like some of the Culver kids that are from Ohio and stuff that I haven't really gotten to see very much. Borman down south, you don't get to see those guys very often, so should be some great wrestling there.
Oh yeah, and then you're talking, and just not only the Montgomery was a semifinalist, and so was Aldred. So you have 2 semifinalists going at it Friday night, right? Or was Aldred a 6th placer?
Aldred was semifinalist. I thought Montgomery was 5th. But you are probably right. I'm gonna look at it, but I'm probably wrong.
We have two medalists going at it Friday night.
Yes, that's all you got to say. Let's see.
2 and 3.
Yep. Yes, I was right for once. Montgomery was 5th at 106. Yes, I think.
And team-wise, you're talking that again, projecting. Borman and Bedich could be huge for the team race because I think that Crown Point has the horses to really make a run too.
Yeah.
If Modern Day is going to want to, you're going to have to take some big dogs out on the way. So.
Yeah. No. I think Crown Point might be able to. They have the hammers, and you got to have a couple behind them. But you also have Modern Day. You got an Orange Central match right there. I mean, I don't know. I want to fill out my brackets. I was going to think about putting in the what the team score would be based on your pick comes, just to see if they change their picks a little bit, because it'll be interesting.
If you had put them in for East Chicago, they would have been pretty close.
Yeah. So because you did really well on those East Chicago pick'ems. It's almost like
I know. Every time I went up to talk to Kim, she was sitting with the Mendezes. Hector told me, "You picked a lot of winners here." I did not. So.
Yeah, no, and in the pick'ems, Caleb is just whipping everybody's butt, even though he did absolutely poorly at Fort Wayne, which is ironic.
That dude's a freak of nature, man. he just processes wrestling different, and I mean, I don't know. You know, just the pick'ems. I don't want to say. I seen a video with him wrestling Mark Hall, who also processes wrestling in a different way. But Caleb can look at things and kind of figure it out. And we should do that. We should take my pick'ems, Caleb's pick'ems, McGill's pick'ems, Sprunger's pick'ems, see how close they are, and then do the team score off that. And I bet we're pretty close.
Yeah, I can put a little formula in there. That shouldn't take too long, maybe. That's pretty good. Yeah, do the state pick'ems also as a general reminder if you want to see some, test your knowledge. I don't try to do the semi-state ones. I have too many vested interests and very, very, very biased. So here I
did them Saturday morning before I left to go to Chicago.
Yes, I did see that. A little bit right on time. I'll say that much. So
I know, and I always forget that we're in a different time zone. I was sleepy. I fell asleep the night before, and then I changed mine right away because Victor Lee got pulled out. So
yeah, you got it. That was a cheat.
Kim does hold Monica's hand.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's what we call insider information, guys.
Sometimes you gotta cheat. It's not cheat. If you're not cheating, you ain't trying. That's the motto. Where isn't the pick'ems? I don't even know where that file is. 2019. No. I'll look for it in a minute. Okay, so we'll move up 126. First off, the Hunter Watts and Braden Curtis match, pretty good. Watts got 2 quick takedowns. Didn't want much to do with Curtis on the mat. It was 4-2, and then end of the first period, Curtis sneaks his way into a takedown with literally no time left, and then it's 4-4. So it's like, oh wow, we got a match here. I mean, it started to look like he was gonna start to blow it out, and then Watts got a couple more takedowns. Kind of owned him on his feet. He didn't want much to do with Curtis on the mat, which is, Curtis is a very good mat wrestler, tough wrestler, period. So that was a good match there. And then
again, like I'm not plugging people's social media, but Caleb Spires has that on his Facebook, so probably on his Twitter too. You guys can go check the match out and see it live from his point of view.
Yeah, and Caleb he's a big Watts fan, so there's pick'em rankings. Yeah, anyway, he should. That was a great match. 2 kids going at it, and the loser.
I thought Watts looked a lot bigger than he did. I thought Watts was a lot bigger than Curtis. And when I was getting the text messages, I felt like it was such a blowout. I was like, man, because you're getting the score, they're like 4-1 takedowns. It was a lot closer than I think that. Watts got a couple of those quick finishes, but right there at the end, because what was it? It was what did it end up being? 8-5.
Yeah,
well,
I think so.
So it was 6-5, and Curtis was in on a really good shot, and they ended up going out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if Curtis takes him down there, and obviously he's letting him up, and Curtis got the takedown, I think Curtis could probably hang on there. So saying like, oh, it was like, yeah, if Curtis can take you down, he can usually ride those guys pretty well, and I think that I'm not gonna say like, oh man, he's gonna win this or not, because he's on the same, and we'll go over. He's on the same side as Ray Rio, who beat him at IPO, but he definitely knows how to win the tight ones, and I think that's kind of been his style, is that more grinded out than what we've seen from Watts and Mendez, which is fireworks,
Yeah. So it's definitely a good match. I think in all honesty, you look at Curtis and Watts had to work with Curtis. The Yorktown program isn't as strong as it was a couple years ago. Watts has the Gimsons to work with. That helps out tremendously. Being able to have those 2 guys, because those 2 don't give you anything easy. Those 2 are both really good, and so that's you're able to he's got a distinct advantage being able to wrestle with those guys, and definitely size advantage was huge. And because there was even talk of Curtis making 120 this year and going down, and I think he probably could have if he wanted to, but he's up for the challenge. He's a kid that's not afraid to wrestle the best of the best, and obviously he's gonna go to college. He's gonna do that, and there's no shame in wrestling, going after guys and getting the best matches possible. State titles are nice, but at the same time, preparing yourself for later in college is big.
Yeah. And definitely a little, just a tad bit of foreshadowing. And we'll go with the bracket. And obviously, that's the one that you're waiting for when we're watching the show. I think they go to commercial break after every 2 weeks, right? It was like 6, 13 commercial, 20, and they're like, we'll be back with 20 and 26. And you're like, okay. And then you see the bracket, and you're just like gut punched. You're like, man, that's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see a Friday night Braden Curtis Brock Peel matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. It's like, man, I hope that this doesn't happen, and then it happens, and you're like, both those guys are going to be wrestling at the next level, and that's a Friday night. But foreshadowing to that, the last two-time state champion at the smaller weights lost Friday night.
Yes.
Like when he moved up 2 weight classes to prepare for college was Colton Cummings, and obviously he was coming off a massive knee injury. But, you know, he had a tough Friday night matchup, and he ended up losing that one.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing I kind of thought of there, too. That's going to be a great match. You know, they're both going to be ready. Peel and Curtis, both great kids. So that's kind of a bummer on top of that they're both great kids, very nice kids.
Yeah.
Come up and say hi all the time, and, you know, really, you know, are great kids off the mat, which, you know, you don't want to see any kid like that go down. So then the winner gets Walenzek, who seems to be clicking at the right time, too. So that's going to be interesting there. Ray Rio, Ian Heath, bottom half. Then you got, obviously, Mendez, Watts, round 2. That'll be good. I mean, Watts, you know, him against Mendez was a very interesting, you know, Watts tried, early in that match, he tried a lat drop, really bad lat drop. It wasn't even like a good one. I don't know if he just felt he's out of position. Basically, that cost him the match. Obviously, it's hard, you know, giving someone like Mendez 2 points on a very poor choice. That's not the wisest thing to do.
I love it when people are on a mission.
Yes, he's on a mission. We'll make fun of Andrew Oberlin. So he's from Cal.
And Mendez looked on another level, and obviously, like, I like the family. He's a great kid, amazing kid, because I think that he has such a high level of respect for everybody, and I think he just generally loves wrestling. He generally loves to be out there. He generally loves to be in the close matches. Even after wrestling Watts, I think he was just so excited to have a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the matches that Gentry was there for, and you got an Olympian saying that's the best kid in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, and I'm not saying that as like, oh, Forrest or anything I'm not putting on. He's like, just the way he moves in his stance and the way you can tell he's preparing, he said that's the best kid in the gym.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not even watching them, like, before the match even starts, off the whistle and how they're moving. And obviously there wasn't much of a match, but he was like, you know, he was very much like, hey, like, you know, what, you know, who's this kid and what does he do? And he follows Illinois wrestling a little bit more, but Jesse buzzsawed everybody. I was looking forward to the Peel Mendez semifinal match, and he buzzsawed Peel, took him down really quick, and then loaded up, I think, a wing and stuck him.
Yes, that should be, some good matches there. I mean, obviously Watts is wanting a little bit of revenge there, whether he's on a mission or he's going to make some noise or he, whatever, all the token things.
He got a dangerous. This is such a loaded weight class. What did I miss here? I know Jared Brown was in the rankings at some point. He's unranked. I want to say Brendan Mark was in the rankings at some point. He's unranked. Is it 14? And Hayden Shepard I left out of the rankings, but so we missed 3. JJ Conway, a freshman. I know one of his losses to Mendez. Wilkerson had a win over Curtis at IPO in the wrestleback. Hunter Watts, the state champ. Evan Burge, super good kid. Kane Egley, Logan Wagner is going to be a good Friday night matchup. That's going to be one for team points. Logan Wagner, one of the most dangerous kids in the weight class. Obviously, we saw that last year when he took out Tyler Triana Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he has a nice little mullet going on, too. Mullet mania down there.
Yes. So, yeah.
Walenzak, I want to say he's a Bloomington kid, right? So he's probably wrestled with Cade Meyer at some point. Yeah. So a little hometown love. Curtis and Peel. So you got, and I know Walenzak was a semifinalist. Peel was a semifinalist 2 years ago. Curtis, a 2-time defending state champion. Ray Rio, a semifinalist. Always turns it on for the state tournament, which is like the craziest thing to me. That there's just guys that are like, hey, he's always had a great season, but like come state finals, state series, it's like I don't lose anymore.
Yeah.
Ian Heath, sophomore from Leo, and Brennan Mark had a really good semi-state. He just kind of ran, like I said, he ran into a buzzsaw. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, should be good, great weight, as always. So, move up 132. Ta-da! Again, looks like, I mean, this, you might as well seeded this one. You got,
surprise, surprise! I was in Indianapolis on Sunday, seeding tournaments. No, I'm just joking.
I did see in the that they did a thing of they showed a couple people that were in on the bracket stuff. I didn't see in there. Maybe
I see Bobby Cox in there.
Yeah. I saw Jim Russell was
Robert
there.
Falcons.
I mean, yeah, Robert,
Jim Russell.
Yep.
JD Minch.
Yeah, so it should be some good wrestling here. We got top side Jeremiah Brooks, Clay Egley. That's gonna be a good one. I know neither of those kids both wrestle hard. Then you got Seth Johnson, Logan Mosser, Asa Garcia, Eli Hickman, and then Hunter Cunningham, Andre Beatty. Andre Beatty with one of the bigger upsets of the ticket round. Gimson and Hunter Brown, Cambridge City Lincoln. They have not had very many state qualifiers. I'll give you the exact number in just a second here. Logan Bowe, Reese
he was one of the only guys that was not on the watch list that made the rankings. And I'll tell you, the guys that weren't on the watch list, Hunter Brown was not. So congratulations to him.
Yes. Yeah, I think what did I say? It's in the article. How many guys weren't even on, I think it was 206 people were in the final rankings. Hunter Brown is the 4th state qualifier for Cambridge City Lincoln. The last one? We weren't even born yet, Mike. We weren't even born.
No?
No. Oh, actually, no. That was the first. Last one was 2005. First one was 1973.
Oh, man, I hit that on the nose. Come on.
I was looking at the first, but yeah. Daniel Moss, Tim LeMay, and Kurt Collins, the only other qualifiers, 3 of them. So they've had 2 heavyweight qualifiers, which is pretty good. So what was I saying here? Oh, yeah. Bo and Rodriguez. Then Viduya, some Kreider kid. And then Hagedis, Campbell, there's some good matches here. Yeah, I was looking at that other article. Man, I'm getting like ADD tonight. What was it? It was 206 wrestlers were in the last state or semi-state rankings. That doesn't mean, and that pretty much means most of the other guys were on the watch list, at least on those. But yeah, that's pretty impressive when our rankings are that accurate between both semi-state and state, especially since we lock them. So anyway, what's your matches to watch here?
Someone was asking me. I said we really do. Man, we do a ton. I probably rank up to about 30. I think. What do you think about 30 in some spots? Some spots a little thinner.
Mm-hmm.
And the real changes happen between like 12 and like 30. Like you get a lot of movement in there. And I just take the numbers off and I move them according to like result and then re-add it. Like, okay, add the numbers back in. So there's a little bit deeper list, so we're not super surprised all the time, but there's always some times that I'm, like, shocked. I'm never shocked by a Warren Center. I'll tell you that. I'm never shocked by a guy that's coached by Tante or Shutley or Maldonado or Vega. And, Crown Point was obviously showing up. I think they're about to have a really good run. Cooper's had a good run. I think those are the teams that when you get those guys, obviously Cathedral has McGinley has an unreal winning percentage on Friday night.
Yes. Derek
Snyder can take a kid like Ricky Clark and get him into the state semifinals. You almost like are terrified when he gets a guy like Dorian Keys, who's an athletic freak. I just watched his like football highlight tape. It's unbelievable. And those guys generally find a way, so I'm never shocked when those guys are winning.
Yeah. So this weight, man, I'm interested in the Brooks Egley match, and that's a 4-on-1. That could be very interesting. The other one, obviously, I have a vested interest in another weight class. The Hagedis Campbell match will be a good one there too. Obviously, you're looking team points. Even like you said, Portage might be able to make a run. They get a win here where they're a slight underdog. I mean, you call it 9-10. That's not really big underdog. That could go either way. That'd be huge. Obviously, Viduya sitting right there also is looking for team points. Him and Gimson semifinal possibly. That'll be good. That's two grinders, two guys that are just gonna leave it on the mat. Definitely, every time you see the Gimsons, especially, don't get to see him very much, but you see him at semi-state and Al Smith. They always come to wrestle, so that'll be a good one there. Definitely interested in seeing those guys lock horns, and then just a lot of good matches up and down here.
Yeah, Jeremiah Brooks might be the meanest kid in the state wrestling-wise.
Yeah.
Maybe a nice kid off the mat, definitely a mean kid on the mat. That is not a guy that looks like it's fun to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing about Clay Egley, so that should be a good one. It's exciting. That's an exciting one to say the least.
Yeah, and Egley's looking there. Obviously, they're looking for team points, and he could have ran into Gimson or Viduya, so he obviously got the best. He got number 4 instead of number 1. Man, how do you get that? All 4 semi-state champs were all right. Man, did you seed this? did Bobby? Did Roberts? Hey, let's seed this based on IndianaMat rankings. See if they notice. It almost looks like it a few times.
I think it works out that way. But this is obviously anything's going to happen down there. But this is best case scenario. This is what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want to showcase and you want to put it up there. A lot of medals here, right? Brooks has a medal. Johnson has a medal. Asa has a couple nice medals.
Gimson, Bo.
Yep, Bo.
Viduya.
And Campbell.
Yeah, that's a lot of medals there.
A lot of medals.
Oh, the Bandits a little late to the party. We already talked about you. What were you doing? Out doing donuts in the parking lot?
Rewind it, man. I told everyone they need to get in the Benny Dalton fan club.
Are you president? Not only are you a member, but you're the president.
Yeah. Slide bys and mullets.
Yes. So we'll move up 138. Man, we're almost done for the night. Seems like we've been here just.
I know.
I'm
trying to slow it down by talking all nonsense.
Yes. Up top, Caden Rooks. Almost got seated well. You got 1, 3, 4, 5, 2 on the other side. So, and this, I do have this reflected on the change with Mr. Chef. Definitely bummer for him. Wrestled real well Saturday and get a third trip to the bank. Got a real good draw and can't wrestle. That's you feel for a kid, especially as a senior. I've known him. He's come up to Carroll and Garrett when I'm up there. Nice kid and works hard. So hopefully we'll see him wrestle in the next few years in college. Rooks. I think he's kind of decent, and everyone's saying I've seen him at the Al Smith. He looked pretty darn good. So him and Gimson possibly in the semifinals does a rematch of the Al Smith finals. Gimson and Kreitzer. I know they said that Kreitzer got banged up Saturday, so it might be very questionable. Might have 2 changes here, so that'd be interesting. 4-5, Braxton Alexander, Gabe Phillips, Friday night, and that's going to be a good one. Tice Freegee got put in a really good spot. Definitely Ron Colley could use that to get him to semifinals or even finals there, and that's huge points for them.
Hey, I was just reading one of the things. If Ben Dalton's selling shirts, I'll get one. XL Benny. I got you.
Nice. So, what's your thoughts here?
Caden Rooks, I think, has looked phenomenal the entire year. I was really excited for that Rooks and Gimson match in the Al Smith finals, and I think you really took it to him. I only had the old bracket in front of me, so that's disappointing. The semi-state alternate system obviously isn't a perfect system because there's some really tough guys coming out of Fort Wayne that are not even getting an opportunity to fill that spot. I'm not sure. Who'd you say was filling in? I didn't even look at it. Micaiah White from Eastern Greentown.
Micah White. Yeah, and you had a couple
There's
other
a
guys
Michigan State place winner. I think they would like to get a shot at Connor Gimson Friday night. Or Caden Rooks, not Connor Gimson, Caden Rooks.
Yeah, that's not a fun match to go to wrestle, but you get to wrestle at state, which is pretty cool, and get that experience is a lot of fun. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So I guess it is what it is, and good for that kid get to go wrestle. I think he's a senior, so hopefully he gets to go wrestle there. And yeah, he's a senior, 32-8, ranked 6th in the semi-state.
Congratulations! I mean that's you have to make weight and show up, and I mean that's why you keep it close. All the guys that lost to the champs, always be prepared. Yep. Gabe Weeks and Kyle Holman. Kyle Holman's had a good year. He's bouncing between 32 and 38. I know Coach Pia have him ready to go. That's a brutal one. Gimson and Kreitzer. I mean, obviously Kreitzer had to go back for injury, but that's going to be a barn burner Friday night. Wilkerson and Poindexter. AJ Poindexter, I kind of posted on the board this week. Great story. He was 6th last year in the Lafayette Jeff Sectional. Sixth place in the Lafayette Jeff Sectional. And I'm not trashing Lafayette Jeff Sectional, but Logansport Regional as a whole is not always the strongest regional coming into the East Chicago semi-state. And he put a ton of work in this summer. A ton. I would see he registered as a Red Cobra, so he was going out there to work with Chad Red from Lafayette area. I mean, much like Jordan Douglas, and we'll get to that in a second. But he got a lot of good results. And I was saying early on, I was telling Wrestling Scholar that I thought that, he was going to be really improved. He went from 6th in the Lafayette Jeff Sectional to 2nd in the East Chicago semi-state. He's a junior. That's an amazing turnaround. No matter how you cut it, that's an amazing turnaround. And I think that just kind of shows our hard work can pay off. Super nice kid. I told him, hey, nice job. He dabbed me up and gave me a hug. I didn't know we were boys like that, but now we are. So.
You missed that memo, didn't you?
Braxton Alexander, Gabe Phillips should be really good. Jaden Reynolds has been known to pull off big matches. Dylan Gowdy, we need to get. It sounds like who's that? His dad or his brother? He won the four-way semi-state pick'ems. He's trying to get on here.
Yes, he is. Yeah, no, Gowdy had a crazy ticket round match, down 3, lat drop on the edge with about 4 seconds to go against Buchanan.
Wow.
And it was right before one of my kids was getting ready to wrestle. I'm sitting there like, oh crap. There's a lot of commotion and stuff. You're trying to keep your kid, calm and getting ready for their match, and you see that kind of stuff happen, and you're like, you got to wrestle all 6 minutes. So that's one of those things that I know the kids sitting there wondering, just beating themselves up about losses like that. Ticket round, that it's one of my friends who might, I don't know if I consider him a friend, Oberlin, he was on here anyway. He was like, how'd your day go? I go, well, it's a roller coaster, highs and lows, and you got to strap in, because it's as a coach, it is fun, and there are days when it's just one or two losses it's brutal, and it's one of those things that you get the kids prepared, you let them go, and they're so close to making that, and it hurts as a coach. I can't tell you the kids don't realize that I wrestled 25 matches on Saturday. They got to wrestle maybe 3 or 4. So as a coach, that stuff hurts, and it's hard sometimes to let go.
And I seen Coach Ratliff, Greg Ratliff, posted something that similar to that on the Edgewood wrestling page. Congratulating the kids that did qualify, and then basically saying similar that his heart was ripped out for the 2 guys, two of the seniors that didn't make it, and just how much they meant to that program and stuff. And those are the ones that really hurt. And it was a good post, because I know there's a lot of positive posts that everyone wants to look at the positive, but those guys are falling short of their dream too. Good opportunity for Trayton Mucker. Another kid that I did not have on the watch list, so congratulations to him, Evansville semi-state runner-up. And we now, and then William Fichter, is that how you Fichter? How do you say that?
There's about a dozen of them.
From Southern
I think
Wells.
he may be the last. I don't know. They probably, but he's tough. Tough family, tough wrestling family, well coached. I've always been very impressed with what Coach Landis does at Southern Wells. It's literally in the middle of a cornfield, not a vacation hot spot by any means, but very, very always impressed. Their kids are well coached. Know what they're. I mean, he doesn't always get the best athletes, but he'll looks like a kid like him, and he'll make them pretty solid. So that's going to be a good match. Guys from Tell City and Southern Wells.
What was the last?
Small scores.
He had a brother that placed also, correct?
Yeah, they have it's a lot of brothers. The family he's got like 3 or 4 brothers, I think. That
When was the last Tell City kid that placed? 2002?
Let's see. I'm pulling it up as soon as we get there. Site's getting hit hard.
So,
so yeah. Oh, oh, we got Hook and Half in here now. Uh oh, he's making an appearance. So, come on, website.
that's my guy, man.
I have 6 scores on you. Come on.
They were going up the county in the Evansville area. We're getting pretty heated in that post. The results, I'm trying to look at results, and these guys are just throwing barbs back and forth at each other, and then Hook and Half makes an appearance, and love it.
Yes, Hook and Half always does well. Man, this flight's going slow. Uh-oh. I have to try some. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move up to, I'll tell you in a few minutes. Move up.
145.
Yes, the last one of the night. Logan Macklin had a real good tournament, avenged one of his losses. His in the ticket round, or there we go, in the finals there. Jake Burford, Antoine Graves. That's going to be a good one. Graves is pretty darn tough there. Let's see. Oh man. Then you got Matt Lee, Scotty, Heart Attack Sailor. I wanted, yeah, he's. We can talk about him a little bit, but Terrell Lavelle with one of the bigger upsets took out number 2, Briar Hall. He gets Jacob Maldonado, Moscone, Jeff Harper, Jonathan Kervin. Not a Kerwin like it says on the brackets. I got that one right. I triple checked. Jake Jenkins, that's gonna be a good one there. Jordan Douglas, Aiden Warren, man, that's gonna be a great 4 versus 1. Douglas is pretty tough. Second time at state, trying to be the Attica's first state qualifier. Had a great article on him last week, and now he has a
2010. Thank you.
Yeah. So Ryan Rassler, LJ Burden, another great match. A lot of good matches here. 2 unranked guys. Cade Law had been in and out of the rankings, and then Scotty Sailor. I'm sorry, Mike, I had to do it. I don't think he's the right guy, but he, yeah. So that was a pretty good match for him. But yeah. What's your thoughts here as I find the Tell City and Southern Wells information? Ooh, Tell City's had 2 state. 2000. When did you say the Tell City last state placer was?
I thought 2002, but someone posted 2010.
2002 was Nick Lane, 140 pounds, 5th. 2010, that's right. Dylan Froelich, 215, 5th. But those are the only 2 state qualifiers. They have had 17 qualifiers in their career, no state champs, only 2 5th place finishers. So yeah.
All right, back to the brackets. Matt Lee has been unbelievable entire year. He's put a ton of work in. Obviously, it's a tough act to follow in that family. His brother Nick, you can watch him periodically on the Big Ten Network doing work. Yes. For the Penn State Nittany Lions. I'm sure in 2 years you'll be watching his other brother Joe Lee do work on the Big Ten Network. And Matt's starting to come into his own. So he got 2 medals. Now he's the number 1 ranked guy. He's just had a phenomenal. And Joe, you get to go out there and coach against Mater Dei Friday night, which is amazing.
Yes, I'll be.
I'm sure that's an exciting experience. I know when Nick used to do the show with us, I would always be so jealous that you guys were out there, doing all the coaching. So, Coach Cooper told me Cade Law was the real deal as a freshman. He has a tough one Friday night with Logan Macklin. Jake Burford, Antoine Graves, that's one of those ones that you look at. Both outstanding kids. Jake Burford, awesome kid. The whole family is awesome. It was good to see him break through at the semi-state level. He ended up taking 3rd. He got upset by number 10, Jacob Maldonado. But they had a close match at the DAC, and Jacob Maldonado was just on. So just sets up a match with Graves. Terrell Lavelle of Lawrence Central and Jacob Maldonado is a pretty cool matchup. I did this at the Al Smith, and I don't think a lot of people really caught it. And you have to really be into wrestling to even catch the note. I want to say that David's dad, or Jacob's dad, David, lost to one of the Lavelles and beat one of the Lavelles for a state title. So a little bit of family history there, the Lavelles and Maldonados.
Nice. That's even better.
So I like that. I don't know if he's part of the same Lavelles. I definitely know that he's part of the same Maldonados, but definitely 2 wrestling names. Decatur Central and East Chicago Central now becomes Lawrence Central and Maryville. Lavelle beat him at the Al Smith. I think Jacob was sick and injured, and I know he withdrew from the tournament, but Lavelle's the real deal. Obviously, he beat Briar Hall's first loss, and then he also beat Aiden Warren. Moscone and Harper was a really good match at the Al Smith. I want to say it was in the quarters. Harper went right at him. That was his first tournament back, so that'll be good. Jake Jenkins had a really good season for Homestead. Andy Oberlin trained, correct?
Yes, he is. Yep, Andrew Oberlin trained.
Curvin from Floyd Central had a good year. Jordan Douglas looked really good. Fast, strong, good on top. I know a lot of people are coming up thinking that he's going to be the sleeper pick at 145 to be a state champion. And I'm not just talking about just like people that are like, hey, East Chicago is really good. I'm talking about people that really know wrestling came up and said that Jordan Douglas is the real deal. Watch him. He could be a state champ this year. So he's going to have a tough road to go. Aiden Warren's no joke. That's a tough Friday night matchup, that East Chicago Newcastle's split right there. So he's going to definitely earn it to go there, because he's going to have to go through possibly Aiden Warren for, on the same side as Moscone, who was returning state runner-up, and then get under the lights. So anything could happen. And Ryan Rassler and LJ Burton, 2 seniors. Definitely an exciting match.
Yep. Yeah, you got Prairie Heights. Prairie Heights kids like to wrestle, and Bill Hay. That's all they do.
And win.
Yes. And yeah, no, that should be some great matches here. A lot, you're looking Moscone, and, you got Matt Lee. Matt Lee's been on fire all year long. Should be some very good matches there. I'm kind of excited to see that weight class. Obviously, you got
some savages on this message board tonight, right?
Yes, they are. They have. That's gonna be some. Everyone's getting excited about state. That's for sure. The board's heating up pretty hardcore. I mean, it's been kind of a little low key this year, and then all of a sudden it's starting to get. Everyone's getting excited, and wrestling.
James Schrader, I love you, but I'm not going to question Antoine Graves' gas tank. That guy's a national champion.
Yeah, no, I've seen Graves. We wrestled him at Disney and into overtime. His gas tank's there, and I know what. There's one thing that Coach Sante will have: his kids don't gas. So unless there's something going on past the wrestling, such as sickness and stuff like that. So a lot of good matches here. Man. We went through that kind of quick. I'm used to these hour and a half long ones when we're doing 2 semi-states. We'll move back over here. Back in Fort Wayne. So, some great pictures, by the way, definitely. So, what? Anything else exciting going on? Any big upsets that you saw? Or any crazy matches? Any crazy moments?
First round, the Jake Armstrong Tatini match was crazy. Hector Mendez, he messaged me and told me he loved my breakdown of that. We're saying stay away, and then he gets pinned, and I just randomly we seen Coach Sessa walk in front of us, and you could see like the steam coming off him. He was so mad. I mean, you're up 8 with 30 seconds left, and you get stuck and pinned, and Tatini will be back. But I was like, he looks so mad right now. On the lower side, I was surprised by the Pio Mendez match. I thought it would be a little bit closer. Brock was able to slow it down last time, kind of keep it close until the third period. Did not go that way this time. I thought that he would make the adjustments and kind of like figure some stuff out, maybe get some offense going. Not a ton. Obviously we'll cover some of the other stuff. There's a ton. Everyone's talking about the best cradlers now. I would say Burford and Ricky Hedges is 2 of the better cradlers I've seen, at least coming out of the East Chicago semi-state. AJ Fowler hit a pretty nasty cradle in the final at 220. James Lavelle, the state champion from Decatur Central, had a pretty good cradle back in the day.
Yeah, no. Speaking of, college-wise, Nick Lee with a big win this weekend on Friday night. That was pretty nice to get pumped up watching Penn State. I don't know. I'd say if there's a team I cheer for is Penn State, just because I know someone that trains out there, and so I get a lot of inside information on training and stuff there. So that's one thing that I is kind of root for. That. Then you have Nick Lee. It's hard to cheer against him and watch those Penn State guys wrestle. You gotta. They're fun to watch. So
yeah,
it's a good match.
Obviously, a little bit Sunday afternoon wrestling. I hope everyone got to tune in. Joe, thankfully, I was laying around and Joe texted me and said that Sebastian Rivera was bumping up to Russell Michik. And man, Stefan looked great in that match.
Yes, he did. How many state champs are returning this year? There's actually a
Jacob Mullen and Braden Curtis.
I can tell you in about 2 seconds. 2018. We have Moran, Curtis, Watts, Garcia, Rooks from 2 years ago, and Viduya. So we got Moran. Hold on, I don't know if I have enough fingers. Moran, Curtis, Watts, Garcia, Rooks, Viduya, Slivka, South. So 8 technically. Picorni did return. I mean, he was eligible, but it's kind of disappointing they didn't kind of mention. They mentioned him on that broadcast, but they didn't really say he was out with an injury. They said, "Oh yeah, he's not wrestling this year." It's like, oh hey, so
yeah, that changes the entire landscape of an entire weight class.
Yeah.
2 weight classes because he had weighed in at 220 at one point this year. So that changes the entire landscape of 2 weight classes. Definitely disappointing for that. The heavyweight from LaVille, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about that tomorrow or Wednesday, but that kid's the real deal, man.
Yeah, I know Chad's been high on him for a while.
Well, we were really high on him 2 years ago. He's had really, I mean, obviously we'll go into it, but he's had unfortunate draws. 2 years ago, he lost to Rudy Streck, who's wrestling at IU right now, in rideouts. And then last year, he lost to Picorni in the tick round. I mean, you obviously have to put yourself in those situations by not winning your regional, but he looked pretty good Saturday.
Yeah, no, should be some great matches there. Kind of excited, obviously, we'll start off with 152, and that one's just straight nasty Friday, nasty Saturday. There's no easy matches that way. That way. Jeez, I was watching that show, and obviously I have a very big vested interest in there, and I'm like, okay, what's our and I was even trying to put together, okay, what's my perfect, most beautiful draw, and I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, there's no way to to get a good draw there. You got to wrestle. So that's gonna be one of my favorite ones to talk about Wednesday, obviously. So
yeah, I mean, obviously the message board's a big part of what we do, and I'm constantly reading it. I'm sure you're constantly reading it. I love the message board. It's such a good thing for our sport, and I mean, obviously it has to be regulated. There was a post today, and I shook my head at it. I'm like, wow. Or yesterday, I was just thinking, how do you think that we're going to let you post something like that on the board?
Yes. Yes.
And it's a guy that I don't really feel like post stuff like that, which is crazy. So I think I didn't like the post where you said all that, and you kind of touched on it. Evansville was if we get all the Fort Waynes, at 52, if we get the Fort Wayne 52 champ, we'll miss Ellis and we'll miss Cooper Norrie. And I was thinking at the Al Smith, Ethan Hicks pinned Brock Ellis.
Yeah.
What do you that? Those are the things that it's obviously I'm from a different part of the state. I have nothing to do with Fort Wayne, and I think I tend to probably sleep on Fort Wayne a little bit more. But posts like that are are you trolling or are you? Thank you, Lamont, but that's not true. That's fake news. Lamont Bradley, one of my former teammates. He's an amazing guy. So, but I just those are the type of things I mean, obviously we're different because we're a little bit more in the know. We get a lot more information, and some people are only seeing what their area or their room, and I get that too. But I mean, if I see something, I'll definitely say. And I love James Sugar. He's a good dude. He umpired some baseball games I played in and things like that, and he's a really good guy, a big Crown Point guy. But Antoine Graves is gonna be in shape. That dude's how you want a 45-pounder to look, and he doesn't get tired, and he's really strong. Yeah. And whoever wins that match is gonna be the winner. And I bet you could wrestle that match every day, and those guys could come out with different results. But I don't think that it's going to be a matter of Graves is just going to run out of gas to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I would say, I mean, and that's one of those things. He's not gonna. He's been there. I mean, the thing is, he was a state placer last year, so he's not gonna have the nerves aren't gonna be there as much as a first time state qualifier. Burford is a first time qualifier, so I'd say. I mean,
Yeah, first.
I've seen guys Friday night gas that you don't ever think are gonna gas, and there's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of. I mean, not first time. I mean, you're wrestling in front of 10,000 people, you know. And
Yeah.
I remember I had a kid one time, first match of the night. He's wrestling the first girl to ever qualify for state, and I was nervous. You know, obviously as a coach, you don't want to show it. He was nervous, and he won. He did what he needed to do. It wasn't a pretty match, but he's like afterwards. He's like, I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember how I won. I don't remember anything about that match. And that's, I mean, and he did. He was one that I was always like, okay, in that match, I was like, okay, if there's a kid I ever had to pick, I coached. I want him because he usually was pretty level-headed, never really got nervous, just went out there and did business. And even he, in a big match like that, got nervous. He didn't really gas, but you could tell towards the end. I mean, he was spent. And that's what happens when you're wrestling in front of those crowd and put some pressure on yourself. And then add on top of that, you're wrestling the first girl to ever qualify for state, so you have all 10,000 fans. They're cheering against you. And then I'm like, you're gonna if she like I remember a couple times where she almost got like a reversal or got scored points. The crowd started getting louder and stuff. And then it was one of those things. I was nervous. It was crazy. So, but yeah, Friday night, crazy things happen, and usually you're not gonna see a guy that's been there gonna gas.
And I think that was one of the things we touched on. And obviously, it's hard to go back and watch 13 hours of broadcast and go through everything. So I kind of get the footnote version. But that's one of the things that talking to Bobby Joe Maldonado, who was there 4 times, and he's one of the more accomplished wrestlers in Indiana, wrestled Division I. He just sent me a bracket where he beat Matt Gentry at Fargo one year, just to let me know that he's still pretty good. But the nerves of going down there and wrestling, like, it's good to get there. I know that they're happy, like a Jason Streck, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, qualifying because you want to get that out of the way. Some guys, their goal is to be a state qualifier. And no matter how you cut it, there's some guys that's all they want to do is qualify for the state finals. I knew a guy that I wrestled with he was a horse. He was amazing. And he qualified for state and then looked like bad in the semi-state. And I remember he was just happy to go and got killed Friday night. And I remember thinking, like, this guy could have easily got a medal. And he was just happy to be there.
Yep. Yeah. You see that a lot, and you see that. I mean, like, and just in that, as I'm coaching, so I had some sophomores that qualified for semi-state. One was a backup, basically, and he weighed 160 pounder. He weighs 152 pounds. Got that experience to wrestle at semi-state. It's nerve-wracking. That TIG round is nerve-wracking. That TIG round is, they got to see it, they got to feel it, they got to be on the mats, and so that's always a good thing to see as a coach. You want those kids that, especially, like you said, even a step further, state, getting a young kid to state. He's gonna get that taste of it. He's gonna get that parade of champions. He's gonna have the nerves. He's gonna be a big underdog. Go out there, wrestle, and see what happens. And worst case scenario, you lose and you come back next year and you kick some butt.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, obviously there's some kids like and we can't talk enough about him, and obviously he's doing a phenomenal job. Like some of the freshmen coming in, these are not going to be the biggest. This isn't going to be the biggest crowd Jesse Mendez is wrestling in front of. This isn't going to be the biggest crowd Zeke Seltzer is wrestling in front of. But there's going to be some other kids that get out there, and this has been their goal since they were kids. I know a guy that I think is probably one of the more accomplished guys I know, and I'm in a great position to, really go out and talk to some people and kind of pick people's brains. And they said they got to a big match and they started doubting if they belonged there because that was their goal for so long. And when you start letting that doubt creep in, then you start opening yourself up to lose when you've just been cruising the entire time. So it's a different atmosphere, and little things can go wrong. And Friday night, much like the ticker round and the first round of semi-state, if you dig a hole, like, you can dig out of it, but like there's less room for mistakes. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday morning, you're good at umpire, James. And Saturday morning, coming off the scale, you're talking about guys having to make weight 2 days in a row at the end of a long season. That's difficult, and that's why that quarterfinals, that Saturday morning round is such an exciting round. To me, the ticket round and the quarterfinals, two of the most exciting rounds in Indiana wrestling, because those are the two most unpredictable rounds, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You got those guys right off the scale. It's the last time they have to make weight usually for a while. So they're ready for it to be over. They might, there's a lot of things go on there. Yes, James, though, socks aren't very good. Go Cubs, by the way. You can tell. You can tell he has bad taste. He doesn't know what he's doing. When you have a socks. Man,
I didn't even know that you guys like bad baseball. I didn't know you guys like overrated baseball in Fort Wayne.
Oh, ouch.
How does that happen? Aren't you guys closer to Cleveland, anyways?
Yeah, but I married a region girl.
I know. So you're like the flip. You're like the wife that just starts liking sports after your wife likes some sports.
Yes, I am.
I have a cousin. She moved to Rhode Island. She's been a Bears fan her whole life, and all of a sudden I see she's celebrating Patriots games. I said, "Who are you?"
Yeah, no, you can't not root for the Cubs. I mean, no, they never win, so it's not like something you promote that you're a Cubs fan until they start winning, because it's not much to promote when they're losing.
That's what we call bandwagon fans, Joe.
I'm not gonna go wear my Cubs hat when they're 40 and 170 or whatever the record is. So
they were 100. They lost 100 games one year, and the Sox were so bad this year. And I was like, man, this is terrible. But how bad do you have to be to lose 100 games?
Yes. So. Okay.
Holly Robinson getting all these likes on her Yes Cubbies Blood, even though we had this many Cubs fans.
They're smart people in Indiana. Our wrestling fans are very smart, Mike. You should know that. See, I'm not even watching that. I just watch it.
We have a ton of smart fans, and I heard a lot of officials there Saturday too.
Yeah. Yes. Now,
if there were 7,000 people at the John Brado Center in East Chicago, I bet we had 5,000 officials.
Nice. Yes. So one thing before we get going, check out our State Finals Information Center. I'm adding lots of information as the week goes on, articles, and all that kind of stuff. It has everything from brackets, our cool brackets with rankings in them, so you can cheat and lose at Pick'ems to Caleb. I was gonna say, and maybe me. I've won the state once, and that was pretty good. I celebrated pretty hardcore. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to win.
Celebrated pretty hardcore.
Yeah, so lots of great information on our homepage on the State Finals Information Center. Things about tickets, schedule, rankings, State Finals by the numbers, and then just general information. So check that out if you have any questions about state this weekend, because I get lots of questions, whether in direct messages and such on social media and stuff. Just go there, please. Keep me. I don't want to answer.
And if you're not going to state this weekend, I think Nick's doing a live improv. You guys can go check that out.
Yes, we're gonna have to get it. We're gonna have to go sneak over there and see what. Maybe we'll bring him down. He can do one. So yeah, check out that article. Great stuff there, and we're gonna have some articles coming up. We had a great one on the Rubel brothers today from Belmont. They're good kids, great family, very good at wrestling family. So and then yeah, lots of great stuff. And if you didn't see, I guess we'll say one little thing. The article on the Warsaw kid, James Bass. Is it James? I know I'm probably messing that up.
I think Jacob Bass.
Jacob Bass.
And I know Burford had to wrestle him in the ticket round, and man, his interpreter was on the mat like full go. She was working hard. It was Brad Harper too, like working hard in the corner. She was number one this weekend.
Nice.
But he had a huge cheering section, so I know a lot of people saw that article. He won his first round match, and the place went nuts. Great story.
That's awesome. I just looking at the stats and sharing the article, and not just me. I know a lot of people shared it. There's 23,000 people it reached on Facebook, and then 219 shares, which is crazy. I mean, that's, we only have, where's my stats at? We only have like 8,000 followers on Indian. Oh, there is it right there. Where'd it go? We have 8,500 or just over 8,500 people follow IndianaMat on Facebook. So that's 4 times as many there. On Twitter, it got a lot of hits. I mean, yeah. So we're 7 away from 8,000 on Twitter. So let's get 8,000 before the state finals. And just as one thing, we will say that we're going to be tweeting every single result from the state finals. I got something going on. I got some secret formulas working in the background. So if you aren't going to be there, it's a shame. But there's video. You can follow on Twitter, IndianaMat. There's going to be lots of cool things with that. We go all in with the state finals, and then we get a good break for a while. So any other parting words, Mike?
We'll see you later on this week with a little bit more action, man. I appreciate everybody's information sent in. I kind of started tweeting and I stopped. Man, I'll tell you, we get so many people helping out every year. It's an amazing thing because it takes a lot, and obviously the accuracy. I listen to a lot of different people and a lot of people's opinions. I got to meet a lot. I met the Alexander's mom Saturday. She was super excited. She said she loves IndianaMat shows, which is always great. That never gets old. Every time I meet someone for the first time, they're like, "We watch you on IndianaMat, or we watch you on the Region Sports Network." It's crazy how far these reach, and obviously now that we have the comments, it's crazy how this has grown from just basically what our group text used to be to people coming up, and they're super excited to listen all the time. So I love it, man. When people come up and say that, it never gets old. It's always shocking, and people that are like haven't been around that before, they're always like, "Oh man, like we love this," and people that have never seen it are like, "Do you know them?" I'm like, "No." So I love it, man. It's great. This is a great platform.
Definitely got a lot of comments this weekend. Everyone's like, "So when are you guys gonna do it? You guys gonna do 1, 2?" I go, "I think we're gonna do 2, probably Monday, Wednesday." Usually we just I text Mike, "Hey, you want to do it tonight?" "Yeah, okay, let's go." So yeah, lots of great wrestling, and yeah, right. Whatever, Chris.
$10 for the Benny Dalton shirts, man. I'm getting mine.
Yes, I want to see a picture.
He sent me the design.
Yeah, you get the picture?
Did he send it to you?
No, but you better send one to me. We're friends on Facebook. Come on, Bandit. Oh, nice.
You see it? I gotta move it up.
Yeah, nice.
Fear the mullet, man.
Do I need to put those in the IndianaMat store real quick? Oh, I see it. Nice. Fear the mullet. Nice, man. Nice. We're gonna be. That's gonna be a nice shirt. I might have to snag one. Might have to do a trade for an IndianaMat shirt. See if we can do that. So anyway, we'll let everyone go. We'll be back Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and talk about those big guys and lots of great matches coming up. So everyone, post stuff on the board. Don't get banned, and we'll have some fun. I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.